Twisted Humans.
Do you find yourself wanting to know more about the latest murder, conspiracy, cult, or haunting?
Then this is the podcast for you. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Sierra, and this is Twisted and Uncorked. Hello, and welcome to episode 185 of your favorite podcast. I'm doing a disappeared episode today, but I will be honest, this case is pretty much already solved, except that everyone in America is innocent until proven guilty. It's a very complicated case, but it's recent and it ties into something else we've been talking about lately. Darn, I forgot to do something at the beginning of your last episode, but it's fine. I'll do it at the end of this one. Before we get into all of that, do you have a fun fact to share?
I do. And it is chicken related, since that's what we were just talking about. And I'm sure that this is a fun fact that you have heard before or maybe told me, so please correct me if I'm wrong, as we are almost 200 episodes in. But there is an incident of a chicken that lived for 18 months without a head.
I believe we did speak of this.
Okay, moving on to the next fun fact.
I don't know if it was a fun fact or if it was on Bitch and Wine, but
it was probably Bitch and Wine. Actually, no, I've used this fun fact twice today, so that's what I'm going with. Okay, so my fun fact is that 1 in 18 people have a third nipple. Channeling my inner Chandler Bing here with the nubbin, but 1 in 18 people, and it's called a polythea. And it's caused by a mutation in inactive genes in your body.
1 in 18?
Yeah, that's a lot. Like, that's a lot of people with a third nipple.
That is so many people that I'm confused why I haven't met one. Like, how? How is it possible?
This comes from BBC, so they're a legitimate source. Science Focus, specifically. So, 1 in 18 people. But, like, does it actually look like a third nipple? I've got to Google polythea.
I mean, what I imagine when you say that is moles that people used to tell girls were for feeding animals their familiars because they were witches. But
that too.
Anyway.
I think Chandler Bing and his weird little nubbin. Okay, so it kind of looks like a... Oh!
Did you just discover you have a third nipple?
I might.
What happened?
Okay, I need to show you because it looks like a mole, and just where it's sitting, I'm like, I have a mole under my nipple. Do I have a third nipple? Or not under my nipple, but under my boob, rather.
If it's a mole, it's a mole, and they're calling it a nipple because they're calling women witches.
This is why we need to investigate our fun facts sometimes. But, like, it looks nipply. Mine doesn't quite look like that.
Where? I don't...
Like, it
just the moles?
Yeah. Oh, that's terrifying.
Okay, that's a nipple.
That man has, like, 5 nipples. So maybe there's variances in sizes. Oh,
I mean,
okay,
but if it's a mole, it's just a mole.
Internet.
Like, I have a mole right
but
here.
But I literally have a mole right there. So I'm like, do I have a third nipple?
I do too.
Do we both have third nipples?
What the heck? That's just a mole.
Wait, where's
yours? Right here.
I have the same one.
Yeah. But that's just a Listen.
I think we need to redefine what a nipple is here, BBC.
In the 1600s, men searched women's bodies for moles and then called it a third teat that they allowed their familiar to suckle
on. Yeah, suckle is a gross word.
They're fucking moles and men are gross.
Can we cancel the word suckle? That'd be great.
Teat. Unless you're a literal animal. Humans don't count.
Yeah, don't ever refer to a human nipple as a teat. Or a human mole. I guess maybe
Yeah.
like where it is because of like its localized area, because your cells know where they're going when they're making your body, right? So, what is your fun fact?
My fun fact is
And I'm
going to
sending you a
hurt
photo.
vegetarian kind. It is that there is a species of green sea slug called a Eastern Emerald Elysia. Elysia.
I'm like
Elysia.
immediately targeted.
It's Elysia. Elysia. Eastern Emerald Elysia. And it is an animal and a plant. It is a living plant.
No. Well, all
It
plants are
uses
living.
chloroplasts. Like it's an animal, okay? It moves around. It does things all on its own. It's a slug, except it eats with photosynthesis like plants do. It's
Weird.
crazy. Yeah.
That's super weird.
Imagine, like, can vegetarians eat this animal? Plant. Plant, animal. Does this change everything?
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
It might. Oh, it is adorable. It looks like a Pokemon.
Yeah.
On that note, we are going to talk about something that we can eat
Mhm.
guilt free. And by eat, I mean drink. And it is our sangria for this week. And full transparency, I am not drinking it because I discovered it this afternoon and it does require a little bit of prep time. But it's perfect for the winter in that it's warm. So we've had mulled sangrias on the recipe before, but they've been cooled, like a mulled wine that you cool. This is
Yeah.
actually a warm sangria, and it comes from the Betty Crocker website. And the recipe that it shows is for like a full crock pot version, so I'm just gonna
Mhm.
link it on our website, and then you guys can decide how much you want to make. But it involves rosé wine. So last week we had the listener suggested ghosty, delightful rosé. Then you're also going to need a half cup of cranberry juice, apple cider. You can swap this with apple cider vinegar if you would like to add a sweetener and make it a little bit of a healthier version. And I don't want to say healthy because it's still fucking sangria, but you know what I mean.
Listen, apple cider vinegar it makes everything healthy. It's fine.
I agree. See, there you go. You are also going to need bourbon. You are going to need to grate the zest from an orange as well as juice it. You are going to need cloves, cinnamon stick, sweetener to choice, and then you can add whole cranberries, cinnamon sticks, and orange, or apple slices, depending on what you're feeling. And you are going to cook it on high heat for 2 to 4 hours. And then you're going to serve it warm in your favorite mug with your garnishes. And yes, please. I really want to try this.
Sounds delicious.
Sierra looks like she's processing her life at what I just said.
A little bit.
Well, like, would you think sangria and then think warm? Because to me, this just sounds like a cinnamony, bourbony kind of drink. It sounds like it's gonna fuck you up, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, when I was in Helen, Georgia for our vacation, I had glühwein
Oh, I've heard about that.
and it was delicious and it was warm wine. And it sounds a lot like that, but not a rosé. I mean, it's its own thing. I had a blueberry one and a apple or cherry. A cherry one and a blueberry one. They were both very good.
I think you taught me about Glühwein.
Yeah.
That's awakening a moment for me where we did the cool mulled wine. Okay, that checks out. But as usual, I'm just drinking my boxed wine that I have in my house. Sierra, do you have anything fun?
I'm drinking a Moscow Mule.
Ooh, shit. If you guys don't know, that is our unofficial favorite drink together, and we're probably going to have one on our 200th episode. So if you're also a Moscow Mule drinker, come join us.
Very yummy. Okay, let's get into this story after a promo break to hear from cryptids, creeps, and conspiracies. Okay, this is long, so let's just hop right in. Brian Walshe met Anna Lubitschek in 2008 when Anna was working at a hotel and Brian was a guest. The two hit it off instantly and quickly became friends. Spoiler alert, Anna would eventually say it was love at first sight, although she was married to another man at the time, someone
Oh
she had met
no.
at work.
That's not the meet cute you're looking for.
Right. Anna, born in 1983, had emigrated to the United States from Serbia in 2005 and became a dual citizen as she pursued a career in hospitality. She started working as a housekeeper, became a server, then a front desk worker, and continued on to bigger and better hotels, and eventually became the front office operations manager. Before then, switching up her career and becoming a regional general manager at a real estate company. But there is a lot that happened in between all of this. Brian and Anna were just friends who stayed in touch in the first few years after their meeting. Brian was drawn to Anna's beauty and Anna to Brian's extravagance. Brian's best friend would eventually describe him by saying that, quote, being accepted by others was survival for Brian. It was all pay to play for him, end quote. And he was not exaggerating. Brian, a Persian man from a wealthy family, loved to flaunt his wealth.
Oh.
He liked hosting dinner parties at expensive restaurants where he picked up the bill, in at least one instance of $6,000. Or he'd like to order a bottle of wine for the table that would cost, in at least one instance, $25,000.
For one bottle of wine?
One bottle of wine.
Is it made out of diamonds? Like, Jesus.
I don't fucking know.
Like, I thought you were going to say 2,500, not
Yeah.
1,000.
$25,000 bottle of wine he ordered for his friends one time.
I'm going to sit over here with my $40 box of wine. The equivalent of 4.5 bottles.
Yeah. It wasn't just his wealth he flaunted, though. It was also his knowledge. He knew so much about wine, art, travel, hotels, good restaurants, and was impossibly able to secure reservations at places most people could only dream of going. But Brian Walshe may not have been what he seemed. He was very secretive. He told people his money came from art dealing or the oil industry or selling apps to big companies like Expedia. I still don't know if any of that was true. What I do know is that he lived with his mother in her 6,000 square foot 5-story house. And many people noticed his credit cards being denied or his checks bouncing or his friends lending him money. In 2011, Brian took a trip to South Korea where he was able to convince a friend to give him some famous art pieces, as well as their letters of authenticity, so that he could sell them for him. But Brian instantly hatched a plan, allegedly, to help himself make even more money. He had the art pieces replicated by a forger so he could sell them more than once, allegedly. This man has not been to trial yet.
I was like, what is the theme of today? Drink every time Sierra says allegedly.
Yes, please. I'll be honest, I think most art crimes are silly because the thought of art selling for as much as it does is literally insane to me. What do you think of expensive art?
I agree with that. I think that somebody's time should be adequately charged for, like commissioning pieces and artwork. But just like one random piece of art that no one asked you to create being super obscure and like $25,000, like I think that that's creating a market for people that like I think that that's a disservice. Like, wouldn't you want the most amount of people to see what you have to create and love it? Like, I just
I
think that
just
that's
don't.
exclusive and
I don't
kind of fucked
understand
up.
why someone would pay as much as they do for a piece of art while other people still live on the fucking street and have no
Yeah,
food to eat.
I agree.
Why are you paying $80,000 for a picture of a banana when that guy could use $8 to buy himself one?
Yeah,
Like, come on.
yeah,
Just
I agree.
fucking. Ugh.
I think that people should be paid what they're worth, but I think that the limit is there. But that goes with all
Yeah.
things. Like, I think if
Yeah.
everyone made the same amount of money and no one would be homeless, but that's a separate problem. People would all be able to eat and have clean water and all that stuff. So, we watched
Yeah.
an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine where they were trying to catch an art thief. And I
Yeah.
was laughing. I'm like, this is literally a pile of trash that you put a mirror in front of, and you're charging
Yep.
$10,000 for that? Like, why?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't get it. I don't
I
get it.
do
But
understand the price of stuff going up if that artist has died, though. That I understand. Not to
that
that
makes it
extent,
worse to me
but
because I'm like, you wouldn't pay this person who is living $10,000, but you'll pay someone else $10,000
because it's
because they have a
never going to
dead
happen
person's
again.
thing. Like, that sucks. That sucks so bad. If I was a ghost, when I die, if people start selling my shit for more, I'm gonna be pissed off. I could have used that money when I was alive.
Yeah.
Okay?
So that's the
Don't
code
sell it for
for
more when I'm
future
dead.
people to not repost our podcast under like a paid platform or something.
I guarantee all artists whose work become like ridiculously overpriced are also angry ghosts. They
Yeah.
are fucking haunting people.
Yeah.
They're mad.
Within a limit, though. Like Thomas Kincaid, for example, his pieces are worth a ridiculous amount for original copies.
Yeah.
Duplicates are whatever, but
Also ridiculous.
yeah.
I mean,
I don't
not
know. I would love
as
a Thomas
ridiculous,
Kincaid
but
painting, but I when I say ridiculous, I mean like $1,000, not like
yeah.
15.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you about these pieces.
Oh God,
They're Andy Warhol's. Look him up.
Andy. I was like, that
No
name sounds
offense,
so
Andy
familiar.
Warhol, but it looks like some digital shit someone made online and then printed on a
Oh,
canvas.
it totally does.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And
okay. I
these
wouldn't have known that
paintings
was
were
art.
like $100,000 each.
I've seen prints of the Marilyn Monroe one.
Yeah. I don't care for art crimes. I don't think it's that criminal, but I do hate a scammer. And so what this guy was doing, what Brian Walshe was doing, was lying and saying something was an original Andy Warhol when it wasn't. That pisses me off. You don't lie. You don't scam. I don't like a scammer.
I agree.
So, anyway, I suppose Brian just got away with it for a while because everything went well for him for years. He got this in 2011. In 2013, Anna officially started the divorce process from her husband and began seeing Brian Walshe in a romantic way. For the first 2 years of their relationship, they traveled the world together, staying in fancy hotels until they finally decided to get married in December of 2015. Anna moved in with Brian and his mother, but eventually the couple decided to get their own place as their family was growing. This was when Anna got into real estate. Together, they would buy, renovate, and sell houses, or buy one to rent it out to another family so they could afford another. Eventually, they had a small portfolio of houses that they owned and 3 little boys that they settled down with in an impressive home in Cohasset, Massachusetts, a suburb of Boston. But Brian's scamming was catching up with him. It is unknown if Anna knew of what Brian was doing or if he lied to her, but in 2016, one of his sales of the forged paintings didn't go well. The buyer received the artwork, knew it was a forgery, and wanted their money back. But Brian had already spent the money paying back his own credit card bills. When the buyer called Brian multiple times and Brian wasn't able to pay back the full amount, the buyer got the FBI involved.
Oh shit.
In 2018, their house was raided in connection to wire fraud that Brian was now being accused of, and he was placed on house arrest awaiting trial. So Anna knew he was being arrested, obviously, and on house arrest and all that because she was there when their house got raided, but I don't know if he told her, like, I thought it was real. You know what I mean? During this time, Brian's father died, and Brian requested access to his father's estate as his only living heir. When he was granted access to the estate, he immediately began selling off all of his father's things and drained the bank account of nearly $80,000. I guess he thought he would need the money for legal troubles that were coming his way. He did sell the two paintings for $80,000, by the way,
Oh my
that the other
God.
buyer wanted back. Yeah. He's like, I need my $80,000 back because this is a fucking fake. And Brian was like, huh? I can't hear you. What?
That's insane to me. Like, how much is like, hold on. Like, who's the most famous painter you can think of that's not around anymore?
Who painted the Mona Lisa?
Well, that's different. That's like hundreds of years old. Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah.
Worth. How much is the. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, we're in another universe there.
That's what I'm saying. Art is stupid. I'm
Are
sorry.
you ready for it? The Mona Lisa is worth $870 million. When was it painted, though? My art history teacher is probably listening to this and like dying.
This is why I took music history instead, because fuck this.
But you love architecture and you love like the layers that go into different things that you can create. You
I
just don't
do,
like the
yeah.
cost.
Yeah,
You have an
I think,
appreciation for that part.
yeah, I think the value is silly. I think money is silly.
I agree. 1503. Okay, that's like irreparable. What's the guy that does the happy trees?
Bob, 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 Bob.
As soon as
Bob.
you said that, I was like
The
Bob
fuck is
Marley,
his
Bob
name?
Barker,
Bob. What is his name?
Ross.
Ross. Bob Ross.
My computer knew that we were talking about artists and it generated it for me. Okay, so a Bob Ross painting is worth, the most expensive one is $64,000. So what is this shit that you're talking about? Like, when was
Look up,
this?
it's Andy Warhol's Shadows,
Andy Warhol.
I believe is what the painting was.
Shadows. Oh my God. There's a pre-owned version on on eBay for $143,000. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Don't get it.
Yeah. It's a lot. Anyway, so Brian Walshe has taken over his father's estate after his father has passed. He is selling off things. He drained the bank account of $80,000. However, Brian and his father were estranged. Most people who spoke about the estrangement only knew it from Brian's side of the story, and they would all tell you, as he told them, that his father was mentally and physically abusive growing up. A friend of his father's, though, would beg to differ here. I'm not sure if Brian's father was abusive, but I do know that his father did not intend for Brian to get the estate. In fact, according to the friend, Brian had already stolen $800,000 from his neurosurgeon father in the past, and that is why his father wanted nothing to do with Brian or his family. His father's friend actually had a photo of the father's will that said, quote, "I hereby bequeath to Brian R. Walshe my best wishes, but nothing else from my estate."
Wow.
That's
My
his own
best
fucking dad
wishes.
about his son.
Tell me
I
fuck
hereby
you without telling me fuck you.
damn, fucking harsh.
You
Okay?
had me at bequeath, but you
Yeah.
know.
Bequeath.
Yeah, you gotta have an extra TH on that. What?
Yeah, his father's friend brought the photo of the will to the courts, claiming that Brian knew it existed but destroyed it. And so Brian was forced to repay any money he had taken from his father's estate. Already being in trouble with the FBI over the fraudulent art sales, this didn't look great for Brian. But it's all white collar crime, so the courts were in no rush to get it settled. Anna told a judge in a letter of support about her husband that Brian was deeply affected by his parents during his upbringing. She said they taught him to hide and lie, called him a loser, and they told him they regretted him. But despite his upbringing, he was a good dad to their children, she said. Quote, Brian has a big heart and is impacting everyone around him in ways that will surpass the present, end quote. As I said earlier, I don't know if she knew the extent of his alleged involvement or if he just played dumb. Again, maybe he told her, I didn't know the art was fake and I didn't know my father had a will and, whatever. So for a couple of years, Brian just sat in this limbo, waiting to see what the outcome of his charges would be. All the while, his wife Anna was continuing and advancing in her career. In early 2022, she got her regional management position at an international property management company, but the job was in Washington, D.C. Anna couldn't pass up this opportunity, but Brian wasn't able to leave the Boston area. So Anna decided to commute for the job, but prepare for when they'd all live in DC together. I didn't look it up, but I'm going to right now because now I want to know. Cohasset, Massachusetts to Washington, D.C. I do know that she commuted by plane. It would have been a
What?
7-hour drive. This is 7
Jesus.
hours away. Yeah.
Can you
So she
imagine that
commuted by
being your
plane.
commute?
Right. That's why I wanted to know because I knew she commuted by plane. I was like, I wonder what would the drive be?
Like,
Yeah. No,
why?
you gotta. Um, so they sold their house in Cohasset and moved into a smaller rental. And Anna purchased a $1.4 million townhouse for them in DC. They were planning on all moving to DC. She lived in it during the week while she worked, and then came back to Cohasset on the weekends to be with her husband and her 3 boys, all under 6 years old, by the way.
Oh.
As the year was ending, Anna was planning for things to finally be resolved in 2023. She spent the holidays with her family, and on New Year's Eve, she, 39, celebrated with her husband, 46, and their best friend, Jem. Brian made them a nice dinner, and they toasted to the new year with champagne. Anna had written on the champagne box, quote, wow, 2022, what a year. And yet we are still here and together. Let's make 2023 the best one yet. We are the authors of our lives. Courage, love, perseverance, compassion, and joy. Love, Anna. End quote. Then Jem hugged his friends goodbye at 1:30 a.m. Anna was planning on being on a plane to DC on the 3rd to make it back to work, January 3rd. According to Brian, though, she then got a phone call at about 4 a.m., January 1st, about a work emergency that she had to go back early for. She had called for an Uber or a Lyft to take her to the airport so she could get to DC as soon as possible. But this is a disappeared episode, and Anna was never seen again. On January 4th, 2023, Anna's coworkers in DC called Cohasset Police and asked them to do a wellness check at her home that she rented, where her husband and children lived full time. Anna hadn't made it to work that day, which was very unlike her, and they were worried. When the police went to check on Brian's home and ask about Anna, Brian told police that he hadn't seen her since January 1st after their New Year's gathering and her work emergency. But according to the coworkers, there was no emergency. Brian was very cooperative with the police, calling friends and family, asking if they'd seen her, and answering any questions they had. And police quickly ruled out any drive services picking her up. So if she left, who did she leave with? Maybe another man?
Maybe somebody
According,
she knew?
maybe. According to police, it seemed that Brian was becoming paranoid about Anna's success and his failures. Brian and his mother had recently hired a private investigator to keep an eye on Anna and determine if she was cheating on him. Recent reports have stated that she was, in fact, seeing someone else, and that it may have been because she expected Brian to go to jail for his fraud crimes. But Brian never offered up this information. Police had to figure it out on their own, which made them suspicious. Brian was on house arrest, though, remember? But the house arrest wasn't like real house arrest. He just wasn't allowed to leave the state, basically. He had requested and been approved to drive to grocery stores, take his kids out to his mother's house, which was an hour and a half away. And the ankle monitor didn't even have a GPS tracker. I honestly do not know what the point of it was. The courts really don't take white collar crime seriously, or at least don't punish rich people very harshly. Like,
Which
you're
they
on house
should.
arrest, but not really.
If
Not
anyone can
really.
afford it, they can.
Right. But what is the point of house arrest if there is no GPS and they're allowed to leave the house?
It's not house arrest. It's just a
No.
regular fucking person.
It's just a really big ankle bracelet. The fuck?
And you maybe have to check in once every couple months.
So asking Brian where he had been was the valid next move. The places he told police he went, such as taking his son for ice cream while the other boys stayed home with a babysitter, going to see his mother, and then running errands for her, these could not be verified. The police checked the surveillance cameras of the places he said he went and checked the store's receipts. He wasn't there. The police do believe they found surveillance of Brian Walshe somewhere else, though, in those 3 days. Video footage shows a man on January 1st who appears to be Brian Walshe in a mask and gloves at a Lowe's purchasing 5 5-gallon buckets, a high-tension hand saw, 48 towels, a hammer, a Tyvek suit, which looks like a hazmat suit, by the way, shoe guards, a mop, snips, 200 disposable rags, trash bags, oil soap, and other cleaning products.
Yeah, that's not something you purchase all at once unless you're getting rid of a body.
He paid with cash.
Oh my
The
god!
same
Okay, what are
person,
snips? I have a question about that. What are
um,
snips?
they're like scissors, but for gardening,
Oh,
like
okay.
tool
Okay.
scissors.
Like industrial, like.
Yeah. The same person is seen at a CVS that day buying 13 types of hydrogen peroxide, and then at a Stop and Shop buying 3 large jugs of ammonia.
As
This
we
is
all
like a
do.
fucking movie.
Yeah, as we all
Like,
do. I'm like, is this Breaking Bad?
yeah. The next day, a person who appears to be Brian Walshe was seen at a Home Goods buying 3 area rugs and scented candles. And then at a Home Depot buying 3 5-gallon buckets with leak-proof lids, a hatchet, plastic sheeting, 24 pounds of baking soda, and another Tyvek suit.
Oh my god.
More footage showed a person who appeared to be Brian Walshe lifting with great effort trash bags into dumpsters. Unfortunately, before police found this video footage, those dumpsters had been collected and taken to an incinerator.
No.
We have also since learned that Anna asked her mother to come and visit from Serbia right after Christmas. It seems Anna may have been worried about something bad happening. There were also rumors about Anna and Brian's relationship being toxic even before his legal troubles, in that he may have been abusing her. That's probably why her coworkers were quick to tell the police to go and check his house instead of the one where she lived in DC. All of this information was enough to arrest Brian Walshe, not for murder, but for lying to police in their efforts into finding a missing person. Although unlikely, it is definitely possible that Brian just needed to purchase these items and it had nothing to do with his missing wife.
What?
But
In what
once,
scenario would you have to purchase those items?
listen, I'm not a lawyer, but I bet a lawyer could come up with one.
I was gonna say, please tell me any scenario where that makes sense, and I'll buy it, but no.
Well, it doesn't matter because once he was in custody, the police got a search warrant, and it had become much harder for anyone to dispute what he's being accused of. The physical evidence that police uncovered in their search warrant was shocking. Let's start with the Google searches that were found on both his phone and his 6-year-old son's iPad.
Yeah, this is how I know of this case. Okay.
Yeah. The first search that seems related was made on December 27th, 2022, and it said, "What's the best state to divorce for a man?" Seems like the beginning of a motive for me.
Seems like you're a fucking
Then,
idiot to me, but yeah, okay.
then on January 1st, 2023, the searches went as follows. 4:55 a.m. How long before a body starts to smell? 4:58 a.m. How to stop a body from decomposing.
You don't.
5:20 a.m. How to embalm a body. 5:47 a.m. 10 ways to dispose of a dead body if you really need to. 6:25 like is this a fucking movie?
The fuck? Why is he
6
not locked away forever? Throw away the key. That's messed
I mean
up.
currently.
Ugh.
6:25 a.m. How long for someone to be missing to inherit? Anna had a $2.7 million life insurance policy, by the
Yeah,
way.
okay. I'm not guilty.
6:34 a.m. Can you throw away body parts?
Where do you find these stories?
9:29 a.m. What does formaldehyde do? 9:34 a.m. How long does DNA last? 9:59 a.m. Can an
Forever.
identification made can an identification be made with partial remains?
I hate everyone.
11:34 a.m. Dismemberment and the best ways to dispose of a body. 11:44 a.m. How to remove blood from a wooden floor. 11:56 a.m. Luminol to detect blood. 1:08 p.m. What happens when you put body parts in ammonia? By the way, I like how he went from 11:56 to 1:08. He gave himself a perfect hour of lunch. Okay. Then right back to it. This
What
fucking
a piece
asshole,
of
dude.
shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, I consistently worry about our search history, but I'm like, anyone could Google us and be like, oh, they have a podcast. That makes sense. That checks out. They're just trying to get information. But back to back to back to back to back to back to lunch to back to back to
Yeah,
back.
exactly.
Suspicious searches? Like, I'm sorry, sir.
So it was 1:08 p.m. What happens when you put body parts in ammonia? 1:29 p.m. Is it better to throw crime scene clothes away or wash them?
Oh my
All right.
God.
Next day, January 2nd, 2023. 12:45 p.m. Hacksaw best tool to dismember. 1:10 p.m. Can you be charged with murder without a body? You're about to find out. 1:14 p.m. Can you identify a body with broken teeth?
Yes.
January 3rd, 2023. 1:02 p.m. What happens to hair on a dead body? Now he's just fucking curious. Disgusting. 1:13 p.m. What is the rate of decomposition of a body found in a plastic bag compared to on a surface in the woods? 1:20
What?
p.m. Can baking soda make a body smell good?
No.
In the basement of the home where Brian lived, you're about to get angry yet because I'm almost to the
Oh
end, and the end is not fun.
no.
In the basement of the home where Brian lived, police found a bloody, bent knife. At the dump where some of the trash had been taken, they found bloody rugs, Anna's COVID vaccination card, a hatchet, a hacksaw, the clothes Anna was last seen wearing, possible bone fragments, and other items that were purchased in the surveillance
Ugh.
video on the first few days of 2023. And with that, Brian Walshe was charged with the first-degree murder of his wife Anna, misleading police, and improper transport of a human body. Because let's just tack them all on there.
Yeah. Fuck you,
He
sir.
has pleaded not guilty and is being held without bail while awaiting his trial, which is said to take place in October of 2025. In 2024, Brian did stand trial federally for the art fraud case and was sentenced to 3 years in jail, as well as $475,000 in restitution. Again, Brian
Not
Walshe
enough
is.
for the prices you were selling those paintings for.
I know. Brian Walshe is considered innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, but I don't think a prosecution team will have a difficult time in doing so. There is one thing that could help his case and hinder the prosecution's, though. The lead investigator for this case against Brian Walshe was Trooper Michael Proctor,
No!
the same lead investigator in the
Fucking
case
John
against Karen
O'Keefe!
Reed.
Fuck no!
Unfortunately, because of the
I'm
shit that
sorry,
was
I'm so
revealed
mad.
about
Oh, I hurt
Michael
myself.
Proctor in the Karen Reed case, all former cases, even where he may have done a good job, will be under scrutiny.
Sierra Ray.
Brian's defense team requested all text messages and notes of Michael Proctor's that were sent and taken, respectively, during the time of the investigation into Brian Walshe. So far, the courts have agreed to give them all of the notes, but they have not yet agreed to hand over the text messages. In my opinion, it is only fair if they do, but if there is anything in those messages that could give jurors reasonable doubt in the case against Brian Walshe, I cannot
No.
even imagine. This is exactly
Uh,
why people like Michael Proctor or any law enforcement officers need to be held to a higher standard and
agreed.
immediately fired if they show signs of misconduct like this.
100%.
Like, what
Oh.
the fuck? This
Fuck
guy is gonna
off.
tank the whole
Seriously?
fucking thing.
Seriously? I'm
It's insane.
so mad right now. I
Yeah,
hurt
also
myself. I'm so mad.
I have updates for the Karen Reed case, sort of,
That's what
that
you
I
were talking
planned
about.
on
Okay.
saying, yes, in your last episode, but I will touch on now. So, firstly, Trooper Michael Proctor had a trial. He's not a trooper anymore. Let me correct that. But Michael Proctor, I don't know if he was fired. He's been temporarily put on leave. But
Bye.
Michael Proctor had a trial board on January 15th. The proceedings will resume on February 10th, but the board was for his allegations of misconduct, including text messages such as, quote, hopefully she kills herself, end quote, when talking to friends about the family of Karen, friends and family about Karen Reed, who he was investigating.
Yeah,
Yes,
he
he
said
said
all
that in his
sorts
text
of
message.
fucked up stuff about
Yeah.
her like Crohn's disease and
Yeah.
not
Calling her a
having
cunt.
nude photos. And
Yeah.
he's a
All kinds of
disgusting
things.
person.
So he is being investigated for misconduct. They January 15th they, sat down and I guess brought it all up, but for whatever reason it's not continuing until February 10th. So we'll know more then. Um and then in Karen Reed's case specifically, the prosecution wanted to throw out the dog bite witness in the next court case, calling it a factually wrong and baseless opinion. However, in the beginning of January, the judge decided that the dog bite expert will be allowed to testify during the retrial. They think that this expert, who is a doctor who has treated dog bites, has seen substantially more dog bites than other normal people in the world, and therefore is an expert in dog bites. So she
But the
should be allowed
first
to be
person said
used.
it was consistent with, so is this just to like solidify that?
So she's having a whole new trial, Karen Reed is,
Oh,
because the
okay.
first one was a mistrial. So the prosecution said the person who said that in the first trial, they shouldn't be allowed in the next one. Their opinion doesn't fucking matter.
All
And the
right.
judge was like, actually, it kind of does. So yeah, they're allowed. The retrial date has been pushed again. Now it's in April. They're waiting to see, prosecution also wants to see if they can exclude the expert who talked about the Haas long to die in cold search. So the expert that said that search was deleted and then redone, and the prosecution was like, no, that was just a glitch. They want to take out the person who said it was deleted. So they're waiting to hear back
What?
from the judge about if that person is allowed to testify or not.
Are they going to bring somebody
Yeah.
else in to review it if they do take that
Um,
person out?
the prosecution has their own person, who says it's a glitch. That's all they want in there. I'm assuming the judge is gonna again say sorry, too bad. Um, I think the prosecution is stuck right now. They know that their lead investigator is under a microscope right now and they're fucking scared. So they're like, let's try to get anything we can thrown out.
As they
Um
should fucking be.
yeah.
Ugh.
This guy is seriously insane. Like
And he looks like a thumb with a
insane is
face.
wrong. He does.
He looks
Insane is wrong
total
because
thumb with
it's
face.
an actual condition. He allegedly he was once considered a sociopath. Um, but yeah, he
He
just
has dead eyes.
I don't know if it's because he was raised that way or not, but he fucking sucks. I'll tell you that much. He fucking sucks.
Listen, we will always be kind to everyone unless you definitely most likely committed murder, in which case you're a thumb with a face. But
Yeah.
she is beautiful, and that's so
So
sad.
beautiful. Yeah.
She could have
Yeah,
done
I
so much
assume
better.
the defense is going to say that she's not dead. They're going to say there's no body. But unlike Taylor
But
Swift's no
look at
body,
the
no crime thing,
fucking
you
search
can
history.
for sure be convicted of murder without a body. Okay, you can. It has happened.
Great song, also.
One or the other, I think the defense could have a case. I really do. I think if it was just the search history, they could be like, oh, maybe Anna searched that herself and then disappeared. She's trying to get him in trouble. She wants to make it seem like that Gone Girl show, right? The movie. Or no search history, just him at the Home Depot. Maybe she wrote him a list of shit to go get and he went and got it. But both? No. No. This guy fucking did something. Clearly.
I personally don't ever have a need for 3 rugs at once, but what do I know?
Yeah. I don't
Fuck.
think I've ever seen anyone purchase a Tyvek suit ever.
Yeah, that
Ever.
doesn't work in an industry where you're handling
Hazmat.
like
Yeah.
hazmat
Yeah.
materials. Are you also like a member of rodent control? Like, why else would you need that? Like, that's
Even
just
that. Like, yeah, no. That people don't do that. Like, if you're a fucking splash painter or a concreter or something. Like, there's no need for a Tyvek suit. What the fuck? I don't know how they didn't flag his purchase. Like, I'm sorry. We need to start red flagging people when they go through the grocery
I
store. Okay.
agree. You
Red
know,
flag.
if
Someone
you
watch this guy for the next 3 hours. Just see what happens. He's real fucking suspicious.
I agree with you. We need that in place. Home Depot, Rona, all of like home hardware. Let's get this on track. If people are purchasing 5 out of the 10 ingredients that you need to get rid of a body,
Yeah.
they should be investigated. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, not full on, don't invade their personal space. Just follow them to the next location. See what the fuck's going on. I will say that one of the things that everyone was really concerned about in the beginning, and I have not found any updates on, which scares me, but also maybe is just a privacy thing, is the boys. She had 3 kids under 6 years old who were possibly home when something happened. And immediately they went into foster care or, to state care. And everyone was like, these poor boys, like who the fuck is going to take care of them now? So
Yeah.
I hope, I hope that they're okay and being taken care of. And I don't know, maybe Honest Mom came over from Serbia and got them. I'm not sure. I have no idea.
I hope so. And before we roll on out of here, do you have anything happening after this? Anything fun? Anything positive?
Um, my children are off school another fucking day.
Wow,
Doesn't
what
sound
is
very
happening in
positive though, huh?
Snowmageddon? Not
I
the way you said
I
it,
don't
but
know. Yeah. No, this weekend we're moving into our new spa space, so that's kind of fun. We're finally moving in.
Okay, you told me that you were talking about it. You didn't tell me you actually did it. That's exciting.
Yeah, so the house that we do it in now is sold officially. And so we're moving from the house to um a office,
And
like an
that's
actual
you and
office that
Jesse's mom.
yes. But
Oh,
in
that's
this
exciting.
office, there's also someone who does lashes, someone who does Botox, and someone who does permanent makeup. So us doing facials is kind of like
Yeah,
adding
it's an
to it. So
all encompassing. Yeah, that's a word.
yeah, it'll
Self-care.
work.
Self-care. I like that.
Yeah,
That's exciting. So, are
it
you
is
and
exciting.
Jesse's mom calling it what you're calling it, or
No, she calls hers something else. So
okay, okay? I'm being secretive, guys, because Sierra lives in a small town. So,
I do.
but that's very exciting. I'm happy for you. I
Thanks.
can't
I'm
wait to.
excited.
You have lots of like really exciting, but also like life moving changes happening.
Ugh, I know. Life is busy.
Life is fucking busy, man. Well, I'm proud of you, and that's very exciting.
Thanks. What are you
That's how
doing
I feel
exciting?
whenever I think about moving. I'm like, how the fuck am I going to deal with this? I am very excited that I finished the last book 3 of the ACOTAR series, and I'm moving on to the 4th after this. I'm excited about that.
It's great. I'm excited for you.
The Christmas special, as Sierra called
Yes,
it.
it's the perfect time to read book 4 while it's fucking freezing cold because it
And winter.
really is like a Christmas winter special.
But we love you guys so, so much. We will see you next week for my probably conspiracy episode. And in the meantime,
Keep
keep
it
it
twisted.
twisted. Twisted and Uncorked is a proud member of Weirding Way Media. Hosted and produced by Sierra Zorn and Alicia Watson. If you like the show, don't forget to leave a 5-star rating and review wherever you are listening now. It really is the best way to spread the word. You can check out all things Twisted on our website, twistedanduncorked.com, and we will see you next Tuesday for a brand new episode.